And for once, welcome to CBS Sports NFL analyst Charles Davis, who will be on the call for Steelers-Bengals in Week 1. So we've got news out of the AFC North where Lamar Jackson sets a Friday deadline for contract talks. Charles, what do you make of Lamar's self-imposed deadline when you consider what other contracts were signed this offseason?
Yeah, Hakeem, I think that we're even talking about a self-imposed deadline prior to the season. That's the story. And what I mean by that is we would have thought this would have been done by now. We've kind of gone on really essentially 2 years of this conversation. Will the contract get done? And then the money kept changing. I mean, that's kind of been the key. Deshaun Watson's contract, Kyler Murray's contract. I think at this point, if you're Lamar Jackson, you're saying to the Baltimore Ravens, I see what they made fully guaranteed. What are we talking fully guaranteed? Because I think that's what it's going to come down to. Deshaun Watson's contract, I think, is going to be an outlier because it's almost fully guaranteed, and that drove the rest of the league crazy. I think Kyler Murray's about $165 million guaranteed. I don't think that Lamar Jackson's going to take less than that. But at the same time, if you're the Ravens, you're going to have to make a decision about just how far you're going to want to go. And Hakeem, this is one of the best drafting, a front office that knows how to maneuver, knows how to do things in the offseason. And by the way, this year's college quarterback crop is supposed to be a very talent-rich class. So unlike last year, this would be the year that people might think about trying to get their quarterback. Would the Ravens want to enter that market if they can't come to an agreement with Lamar Jackson?
Do you think they get a deal done by Friday?
I'm pessimistic. We've had 2 years of this conversation. I'm really pessimistic it gets done by Friday, but I have been told by people a lot smarter than me that hard deadlines make for good negotiations.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, the deadline is Friday, self-imposed by Lamar, who's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league since getting drafted in 2018, leading Baltimore to a 37-12 record in 49 starts. Another quarterback drafted in the first round in 2018 was Josh Allen. Got a huge contract last year, 6 years, $258. He leads the Bills into the season on Thursday night against the defending Super Bowl champion Rams as the favorites to win Super Bowl 57. Charles, are the Bills as good as everyone says they are?
I think that they are, Hakeem. And look, this is a team that's been building towards this conversation we're having right now. They've made those steps. They became a perennial playoff team. They've taken teams like Kansas City to the limit that is used to going to an AFC championship game and a Super Bowl. They came very, very close. Heck, they forced a rules change about overtime, finally broke through that barrier, which had been discussed for a while. And that game of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs Bills last year, pushed it over the top to where everyone gets a touch in the overtime in the playoffs. So this team now, oh yeah, that's right. The defense was number 1 in the league last year. And most of those guys are back, and they added to it when they got Von Miller. I think that they're going to have to tread water a little bit on defense until Tre'Davious White comes back full speed. The back end of the defense, that might be where the issue is on the corners. That's why they drafted Kyer Elam out of Florida to try and stopgap that a little bit because they lost Levi Wallace. But I do think that this team is up to the challenge. They know what's ahead of them. And by the way, Hakeem, we're at that stage now. No more talk. Let's just go play. Yeah. Right? I mean, exactly. Like Elvis. Little less conversation, folks. Let's do it.
Yeah, as you mentioned, if the Bills get to overtime this postseason, Josh Allen will at least get a chance to possess the football. Aside from the Bills and Rams kicking off the season, Charles, for you, what's the most intriguing Week 1 matchup?
Well, look, the Bills-Rams has got us all fired up, and rightly so. I mean, it could be a preview of the Super Bowl. The defending Super Bowl champions at home. They're going to bring out the banner. Here comes the team that everyone thinks is going to meet them in the Super Bowl or is the favorite coming in from the AFC, the Buffalo Bills. But I'm going to give you another game, and it's Kansas City at Arizona. I think that's a spectacular opener, all right? Here on CBS, Jim and Tony have the game. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best quarterback in the league, a former MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, who got all kinds of, how would we say it? Licensed to be the man on the team this year with the offseason that Kansas City had to bring along these young receivers to take full ownership of the offense. And Kyler Murray, his offseason has been tumultuous to say the least. Scrub all your social media, which is the way you talk when you're unhappy right now, right, Hakeem?
Yep.
Okay, now we're in a contract. Oh, okay, we're in a relationship again. Oh, what do you mean I have to study? What, that's a clause in the contract? But if they can go in and beat Kansas City in this opener, a lot of that goes away. And then the next question I'll have to answer will be the back part of the season where they haven't had a winning record yet. That's a playoff team versus a playoff team. But boy, two of the most terrific quarterbacks in the league. That one's going to be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to that one as Patrick Mahomes faces his old college coach Cliff Kingsbury for the first time in the National Football League. Plenty of old faces in new places this season and plenty of fresh faces getting big-time opportunities. Charles, as you know, nearly 1,700 players on NFL rosters. Who's the player under the most pressure going into the season?
Well, I would love to say Russell Wilson because of his maneuvering to get himself to Denver and go to a place. Now you're in the AFC West and you're dealing with Derek Carr, you're dealing with Justin Herbert, you're dealing with Patrick Mahomes, but he doesn't mind that kind of pressure. So to me, it's Trey Lance. This is a San Francisco team that's loaded. It's a terrific roster. They were in the NFC Championship game last year, and that locker room liked their quarterback named Jimmy Garoppolo. They moved on from him, and did that just recently happen where Jimmy's back in the locker room, where he's in the meeting rooms, where he's the number 2 quarterback? What if Trey Lance doesn't play well early? I don't think Kyle Shanahan will have any qualms about going to Garoppolo at that point, because this is a team that's built to contend for a title, but it's been a weird, wild ride to get there. To me, Trey Lance, who thought he was going to take over this team and Garoppolo wouldn't be around, they can say all they want, Akeem, about, this is not a problem. We're all friends. We all get along. You and I both know this is going to be a very interesting time in San Francisco.
Indeed. Trey Lance and the 49ers open their season on the road against Justin Fields and the Bears. All right, now let's get your pick to win NFL MVP. Josh Allen is the favorite, followed by Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Tom Brady. Charles, who do you like to win MVP this season?
Because it's a remake in a sense in Kansas City, and it's been the end of a 2-year remake. Last year, that offensive line totally got remade to start the season, and that paid dividends by the end of the year. It's one of the better offensive lines now in the NFL. But the remake has been at the receiver position. Juju Smith-Schuster's in town. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is in town. They drafted Sky Moore. Travis Kelce's still around, which is a great thing. But if Patrick Mahomes can bring along these young guys, win a 7th straight AFC West crown, get to a 5th straight AFC championship game, I think that he's got a very good chance of being the MVP again this year. He is my selection in a slight upset to win the award.
All right, so you've got Patrick Mahomes as your MVP. Does he get the Chiefs back to the Super Bowl? What's your Super Bowl 57 matchup prediction?
Well, I'd sure love to say yes, but I'm going to say no. And we're going to start with where we began, Akeem, and that's Buffalo. I do think that they will weather the storm. A tough schedule, everyone circling them on the calendar, on their schedule, but they've been there. They've been battle tested. It's time for them to get over the top. I think they emerge out of the AFC led by Josh Allen and a terrific defense, especially those safeties in Hyde and Poyer. I love those guys. And they'll say, I'm going to say Von Miller, double-digit sacks for sure this year. And then on the NFC side, how about Aaron Rodgers? A little bit different offseason. Got to bring along some young receivers. Been all over him again in the offseason, telling him, hey, let's get it in gear. But he did that because he knows he needs them. He knows this team has to come along, and he put that extra pressure on them. I like Green Bay to finally get through. They've won 13 games 3 years in a row and haven't gotten to the Super Bowl. Finally, it's their time. Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers, they get to the Super Bowl, but Buffalo wins it.
There it is. Wow, Western New York, ready to go. I mean, a lot of people love the Bills. Look, I'm married to a Bills fan, so I like the Bills as well. Even though I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, diehard, I'm married into the Bills family as well. So I know.
So you're in the mafia then, Akeem. Yep. There's no getting around it. I was in the airline line last week, and a Buffalo Bills fan came up to me and just said, I've been through the 4 losses. Just give me one before I go. Yep. And I said, how old are you? He said, 32. I said, okay, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Bills looking to win their first ever Super Bowl title. Their quest to Glendale begins Thursday night in L.A., defending the Super Bowl champion Rams. Charles Davis here on CBS Sports HQ. Charles, thanks.
Thank you.
And here's a look at the notable Week 1 matchups. Patrick Mahomes facing his college coach, Cliff Kingsbury, for the first time in the NFL as the Chiefs visit the Kyler Murray-led Cardinals, a game you can see on CBS. Also on CBS, we've got an AFC West rival renewed, clashing in Week 1 when the Raiders and Chargers renew pleasantries. And Tom Brady set to begin his 23rd season in the NFL when the Bucs visit the Cowboys in the first Sunday night game of the year.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.